I just see one white hockey puck in his mouth. It's huge.
It's time to take A Therapeutic Dose, a prescription-strength reality TV podcast that explores the intersection of reality TV and therapy. Possible side effects may include entertainment, strong emotional reactions, and/or laughter. Here are your hosts, Ramona Ramirez and Margie McGee.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to A Therapeutic Dose, where we meet at the intersection of reality TV and therapy. I am Margie McGee, and with me, as always, is my dear friend and co-host.
Hello, I'm Ramona Ramirez Higgins. Hi, my friend. Hi. I'm really glad to see you.
You too. We missed last week because you were tending to family affairs.
Yes.
But we also missed nothing because that was the final installment of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City reunion. And there's nothing. We'd already heard that Bronwyn and Todd had separated. And that was like the big news in that last segment. So I got nothing. Was there anything that stuck with you?
I think I remember being struck a couple of times by what Meredith said, but I can't even remember what it is now. I can't remember what it is at all. I think mentally I was so ready to be done with that. Again, that's what's so brilliant about these shows. It's so great when it first starts. And in 2.5, 3 months, when we're done talking about these summer house kids, not even anymore, geez, I'm going to be like, okay, great, let's move on, you know?
I mean, it really is the life cycle of a bad relationship. It's like
my
the first
God.
month, it's like, wee. And then the second month, you're like, wait. And the third month, you're like, I'm ready to go. You know?
Yeah.
My therapist said, the first 3 months of any relationship are chemical. And then you can start to evaluate if you really like each other. And so by the end of these episodes, I was like, I'm by the end of these seasons, I'm always like, yeah, no, this was a fling.
Yeah.
And we're not meant to be together. Of course, we'll try again for another 3 months next season. But
I need a break. I need a
always
9-month
by
break.
the end, I need a 9-month break.
Always by the end, yes. But I am so excited. This episode was fantastic. We are here to talk about Summer House. This is season 10, episode 1. And the episode that they aired is called Red, White, and Nude.
I mean,
Hardly nude, but it was great. And was it extra great because in November, we heard the speculations that Kyle and Amanda were living apart, and then we got confirmation of it. What was it? Right before Christmas, before Thanksgiving, right before
I think
a few
it
weeks
was,
ago.
Yeah, I think it was after the holidays because remember they both posted pictures of their Christmases in separate locations with separate family cohorts, and people were like, what's going on? So I think it was after the holidays that they announced. Maybe I'm wrong, but anyways, it doesn't matter. They are separated now.
When we were watching last night, Josh was insistent. He's like, there is no way the editors didn't go back and like rework this premiere episode.
I don't think they
after
had
the
to.
news. I know. I was like, well, if they did, I understand why. I mean, it was a great episode. But if they didn't, the Bravo skeptic in me, the reality TV watching skeptic in me is like, I know how this shit is done. I know that there are some shows out there where they pre-plan shit. And I know we all speculated this about Mauricio and Kyle. Did they plan this for the show? Storyline. I'm so tempted to like think that.
With divorce, I mean, I can't be that cynical, and I don't think like it was the only thing. And by the way, it's consistent with every prior season. Amanda and Kyle have never been stable,
right.
but for like 3 episodes at some point. And when Amanda's talking about when social media is telling you to get divorced, you lose track of what are your own thoughts and what are being. So it is in the zeitgeist. Like, I don't think they had to edit shit. And I will tell you, their interactions made me so uncomfortable from both of them that the same feeling I had when they announced their separation, I just kept reminding myself, like, you can feel relief. They are no longer together. They're not punishing each other. They're not looking for reasons to hate each other anymore. They're in acceptance that this is not working. They gave it a nice long 9 years. It's not a failure. It's actually a great relationship that has run its natural course, because holy shit, this is the first weekend of summer and they couldn't get away from each other fast enough. Even in the opening, she's like, bye, I'm driving with the girls. And he was like, ugh. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah. So speaking of the opening, the episode opens that it's July 3rd. It's the day before the 4th. Everyone who watches Summer House knows the 4th of July is a big deal, and they always have a big ass party. So we see footage of the cast, leaving New York on their way to the Hamptons, and Kyle and Amanda are in the car, but we learn shortly thereafter that Amanda's actually going to be ditching Kyle to drive with Ciara. I did not have an issue with this at all. They've been together for so long. And I asked Josh, I'm like, okay, if we were going out of town with our friends, Sarah and Greg, for example, and you haven't seen Greg in a minute, and I haven't seen Sarah in a minute, would you give a rat's ass if, we swapped and I sat in her car and he was in yours? He's like, fuck no. I'm like, exactly. But I didn't think it was strange or odd or weird. I don't know how often Ciara and Amanda see each other when they're not filming. I do believe that they're friends. I don't have any fucking idea why I think that. I don't know. They seem like they're
Well, they showed us
friends,
footage
right?
of them chatting in one of their apartments.
Oh, yeah,
I do think they hang out. Yeah.
I just didn't think that was weird. And Kyle was just making it to mean something. But I'm not in a situation where the end of my marriage is going to be coming in 9 months.
Well, to me, it was just a magnifying glass on anyone who thinks workaholism is not a fatal illness with massive consequences. Look at Kyle Cook. He tells us that, oh, well, we haven't seen each other from, January to July. And I was like, and he's like, because I worked nonstop at Loverboy and then DJ every weekend. I'm like, oh, so you're gone all the time. And now you expect Amanda to jump to spend a second of time with you? What do you think she's doing when you're gone? She's building a life of her own. You think she's just sitting on her hands waiting for you to return? That's not how that works. But that's what workaholism leads you to believe, that everyone else is insignificant and unimportant and you're the only one who has shit going on. And when you finally come up for air, people will applaud and rush to you and need to be by your side. Kyle is getting a whiff of that is not so. And in fact, in the course of DJing and separating further and further from your wife on a daily basis, she's clearly experimenting with the other shit in her life. Friendships, flirtations, business. It's not like putting a dog in a crate and it just waits till you come back to turn on again. That was unpleasant. That opening bummed me out. Everything from those are my DJ decks, make sure they don't fall. I was like, dude, please stop.
The editing was meticulous and intentional and fantastic. She hates him. And Ciara hates him. You can tell. Amanda gets in Ciara's car. They pull away and Ciara's all idiot and Amanda's all, thank God. Woo!
Yeah, but it's that whole thing of the opposite of love is not hate. The opposite of love is indifference. And they are not indifferent.
No.
They both care deeply about him, which is again, the signature of an addict and the people who love them. If only you could just cut them off and go idiot, forget him. It's God damn it. I still love him and care about him and don't want him to self-destruct, but it's happening. And so now I have to make different choices. And that is apparently what we're going to watch unfold this season.
Oh my God. Riveting. So Kyle picks up Carl and Jesse Solomon, and Carl is, he looks noticeably different from last year. We learned that he's training for the New York Marathon, and I feel like he's getting real lean from that. And his teeth just looked extra big. It's they looked more like they fit his mouth last year, and now I feel what happened? I don't even see the lines between I don't see separate teeth. I just see one white hockey puck in his mouth. It's huge.
He sure did give us a cowboy hat to try to take our focus off his teeth. And I don't know what I needed him to do with his ears, but whatever was happening seemed not right. The hat was pushing his ears, folding his ears down. And I was like, do you tuck your ears up into the hat? Because this looks crazy with them folded down, and the hat was gigantic. And I was just like, is Kimosabe fucking coming to the Hamptons with us? And apparently it was. The hat made appearances Thursday and Friday so far. I guess next week.
Did you notice that it had the Loverboy embossed in the brim?
I did not.
It had Loverboy embossed in the brim.
Good
So
for
I don't know.
him.
Maybe they did get it at Kimosabe. I mean, it's a Bravo fucking hangout now, but
Sure.
it's a bad hat. It was a bad hat before I saw the embossing.
Carl's like, I'm the most me I've ever been. I'm like, are you? Then I guess I didn't know you at all. Because like a weird giant cowboy hat in New York City in July where there's nothing more humid than New York City in July. And you have like a leather cowboy hat. I'm just like, I'm at a loss. I really was like, well, this is a stunning look to launch us into our summer house experience this year.
It's so
But
funny.
okay, great.
We had tight, impossibly tight white jeans, Carl. And now we have big Loverboy embossed cowboy hat, Carl.
And look, for the most part, like I really appreciate Carl on this show.
Oh,
like,
yeah, for sure.
And he did say like he's been healthy for some years now, but he's finally becoming a whole human being. And I think that's really true of recovery. I don't know, from anything, but I imagine especially from drugs and alcohol, like the actual chemical shit that your brain has to come down from must take years, and to then decide who you want to be without those enhancements. I don't know. I'm proud of him. And with one exception, I appreciated most everything he said. And I also am kind of like grossed out by Jesse and West at moments. I'm like, you guys are mean girls. Like everyone talks about girls being so shitty and petty and lame. And I'm like, Jesse Solomon and West make fun of a girl for crying. They make fun of Carl for wanting to be in the mix. And they do it behind their backs. And I'm like, you guys are fucking whatever. Girls get a bad rap, but
They
like
do.
straight boyfriends are just as gnarly, if not
Yeah,
worse.
they
'Cause
were
they're
being catty as fuck.
completely.
Yeah. So West is driving his respective giant SUV with his friend and our new cast member, KJ. And West gives KJ some background on him, on his and Ciara's past together. And he gives him a warning, don't date your housemates. And KJ's all, hell no. Like, he wasn't planning on it, West. He wasn't planning on it.
Because he very vulnerably shares right up front that he has experienced heartbreak and he is not over the pain that caused. And then he's like, I'm Drake, man. And then they both pause and giggle for a minute because I think this came out. Remember when that Drake video of him like pleasuring himself? I think it had just come out when this was filming. So
I thought
made
that
me
was all
giggle.
about A minor. Like, that is like, I am not
Oh,
Drake
maybe.
because that
Oh.
means I'm DMing girls that are underage.
Gross. Well, all of the
That's
above.
how I interpreted that. But
That's
yeah.
probably right. It was a great little intro to KJ. I really liked him right from the jump. And throughout the episode, I was like, love him, love him, love him, love him. Perfect.
Love. Welcome, KJ. So Ciara and Amanda pick up the two new casts, two of our new women cast members, Bailey and Levi, who have been friends for 2 years. They met on Instagram. I know about sliding into someone's DMs if you think the other person is hot, but I didn't know you could slide into someone's DMs if you're like, you look cool, I want to be your friend.
I love
that. Yeah.
I love these two. And I love that they're friends first. Like last year, we had that mess of, I don't know what happened last year. It was a disaster. But these two were friends 2 years heading into this. They're fucking adorable together. I love everyone in this cast. I think this is a really, real strong opening.
Bailey is really excited. She needs to have a fun summer, she says, and Amanda fills both of them in on her marriage a little. Bailey immediately calls out Kyle's DJ career as a midlife crisis. Amazing, out of the mouth of babes. And Levi says DJ as a job is for people who like to stay out and party. No lies detected from the newbies. And I guess good for them for just being super honest about it. Like, they are Greek chorusing for all of us.
Yeah, and we get that flashback. Like Ciara echoes it and says, becoming a DJ is a job for people who don't want to come home, and they should just stop lying about that. And then we get that little flashback to a scene with Ciara and Amanda in one of their apartments where Amanda says, I asked Kyle to stop partying and be home more, and he got a job where he's out all night partying. So I don't know. I don't feel great about it. And Ciara's like, you should be pissed about it. You deserve to be pissed about it. And I agree. We all saw her. She's not making this up. It's on camera where she said, I just want more time with you. You're always working and gone. And he's like, cool. I'm going to go away more and then mope in the car when you don't want to be around me, even though
And then
I
I'm going to
abandoned you.
get wasted on the 4th of July. And when my friend Carl asks me about you, I'm going to say, I don't know what Amanda needs to be happy. And I don't know if I can give it to her. I'm like, I know what she needs to be happy. I've known since whenever I started watching it, but like in season 1 was what, 2016 is when they shot it?
2015. It's been 10 years. This is year 10.
So Ciara and the ladies in her car arrive first. They leave the trunk door open for the guys to get their shit inside. They get into the house with ease. And if you've watched Summer House, this house in particular, if you know, you know. This front door is another cast member at this point. But everyone can open this front door great this year. The house is redecorated. West and KJ arrive. They grab their respective cans of Loverboy and go to the backyard to chat with the ladies. And Ciara in her confessional says, in regards to West, in the past, it's been hard for me to process my big feelings. My goal for this summer is to be less rigid and less of a bitch. I didn't think she was a bitch necessarily last season. I think she was communicating her feelings about the situation with West in the best way she could. She had to be a little standoffish and not make him comfortable.
I love this for both of them this season because the past few seasons, because you get to see how long it takes to get over someone you liked. And the first summer was just an effort to tolerate each other, and it didn't go great all the time. And both of them were affected by it. And this summer, I love Ciara's goal of like, I'm going to try to be less rigid. I'm going to try. And that's this summer. Nobody's saying like, and this summer we'll relax and be besties. Like, I'm sure I've shared, there's this guy who I dated for a year and we were like so close. Nobody makes me laugh harder. He's hilarious and delightful. And we only dated for a year, but when we broke up, we had to be separate for 5 years before we could be friends. And then we became like the best of friends. But it took 5 years when we both knew it wasn't meant to be anything more than it was. It doesn't matter how well you know that. It just takes time to process it and move through it. And I love watching both of them. Because West later says, like, this year I'm not going to let my security and self-esteem depend on how Ciara receives me. And I was like, well, that's great too. What? You're mad?
No, I'm not mad at all. I'm just, what you see on my face is marvel that these kids took 9 months off from last year and they're coming back in and they're like, well, this is what I'm going to do. They got to these revelations that seem super healthy and they have like these internal boundaries. I wouldn't know how to do that without the help of people that I have to pay to help me. And maybe they did. I don't know, but I loved it.
But I also just want to like acknowledge that even if they had help that first year, that's what it looks like.
For sure.
Even with a support staff,
yeah,
you might be a bitch. You might be a mess. You might try to please and have your self-esteem rely on someone. Like, it's a fucking mess.
Totally.
Nobody has ever gone through a breakup gracefully with someone who, in my opinion, there is no graceful way to go through a breakup with someone who you truly loved. It's just a mess, and then it gets better exponentially over time. And I love this summer for both of them. I'm really excited for both of them.
Both of them. I feel glad for Ciara that she feels more relaxed this year.
And like what nobody told me, because, you know, our generation were told like, find someone and get married. That's what you got to do. We weren't told that maybe part of the point of a relationship is realize and experience some growth. And both of these guys have grown from that relationship. And it looks like it's complicated because there is a scene, you know, from later in the season of the two of them talking about how in tears, talking about how they miss each other because it's fucking complicated.
Yeah.
But they have clearly affected each other in a positive way because both of them have grown. It's fucking gorgeous.
Yeah, I loved it. I'm excited to see what happens.
Me too.
KJ, in his confessional, tells us that he is a model and a pro skateboarder. KJ went viral for a trick he invented.
It was pretty fucking cool.
It was really good. Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of love people who just do what they love and go viral honestly, not because they're trying to or
totally
posting 3 times a day because that's what it takes to get. He just did something that he's fucking good at And we later find out it's something he does to soothe his anxiety. He wasn't doing anything to go viral. He just was doing something that is a mental health tool for him. And it changed his life. And I fucking live for that.
Love
Gorgeous.
it. Love it so much. So he ended up in New York after being scared of it, but fascinated at the same time. He moved and realized, oh my God, I love it. I love the edginess. Great. I love New York. This is great.
I wonder if that's like characteristic of people with anxiety because, you know, I always am concerned that people are lying to me and thus I hate liars so much. Like, I wonder because he said everyone in the Midwest is kind for no reason. And he's like, I guess in New York, I just like people who are a bit mean, you know? And I'm like, because you feel like you can trust them more if they're just direct. And,
Fascinating.
you know?
God, yeah.
Because I feel that way sometimes too when people are too overly nice and appreciative of me. I'm like, is that true? Or are you?
Yeah.
It makes me suspicious.
Are you putting me on? Right,
Yeah,
right.
in a really
right.
weird way. Are you going to pull a West and Jesse and say like, everybody cries in this house, feel free to cry, and then go upstairs to the room and be like, the new guys are crying.
Oh my God.
You know, dicks. Anyways.
Kyle, Carl, and Jesse arrive. Introductions are made with everybody in the cast in the kitchen. Amanda doesn't really say hi to Kyle, but she does say there's a box of alcohol in the car if you could bring it in. The resentment, the impatience, like she's tolerating him at this point with disdain.
But they feed off each other. So Kyle is looking for reasons to be mad at her. She senses that. And so she's giving him reasons to be mad at her. And this is why I was like, thank God they're no longer together. They could not get out of that cycle in this episode, let alone in life in general. God, it made me so uncomfortable. I was like,
We're watching her lose her last shreds of respect for him in real time. Her last shreds of respect for him as a husband.
yeah.
I think.
They're just a bad match. They are not a good match. And it
No.
took him a long time to figure that out. But I think we are watching the last vestiges of this marriage.
Oh,
And they're
wow.
not hanging on for dear life. They're both just like, fuck this.
So in Ciara's confessional, she says, Kyle is my friend, but I have to hear about how Amanda's being treated. Then I have to sit there and smile and giggle in his face, knowing these things, but I can't get involved because it's not my marriage. Oh, uncomfortable.
This is why I love Ciara, because Kyle comes in and he's like, it's about to rain outside. Everybody get their shit. And Ciara's like, you can grab ours. The trunk is open. And he's like, what, your arms don't work? And she starts to snap. And she's like, no, they don't, but yours do. You know, she's literally like, go fuck, like, be helpful. Don't just be like a petty, whiny dick. So as much as she's saying, I have to smile and giggle in your face, she's not. She's really actually clear. Talk about like authenticity and not feeling like you're being duped ever. Ciara is incapable of bullshit. And I loved her in that moment of being like, no, my arms don't work, but yours do. Help, go do something.
So the cast pick their rooms. Levi and Bailey are sharing theirs. Amanda and Kyle get the primary room that they always get. And no matter how many times these homeowners or whoever owns this house change the furniture or the decor, they neglect to get rid of that monstrosity of an oppressive beast of a shelving system in that primary bedroom. It is so 90s and so ugly. And at this point, it's just another fucking character like the goddamn front door. It just is. And then Carl starts spraying something that it looked like cologne in his room to get rid of the bad vibes and the bad. And I don't know whose room it was before. He wanted to get rid of alleged bad vibes and bring in good vibes and bring in positivity. Hilarious. And in his confessional, Carl says, summer 2025 is the summer of Carl. Training for marathon, healthy, sober for years. Feels like everything's finally gelling. And he calls himself as the annoying runner guy. And I remember, Margie, how many LA marathons did you run?
I ran 3 LA marathons, but 5 marathons total in my life. And I am dying reading the notes that you took here because that was my fear. I was like, was I like that? It does consume you. Like
when he was like, I'm training for the marathon, I was like, oh, fuck. Because Radzawell, remember anyone watched Roni when Radzi did the marathon? It's like
we were all
it was
scarred.
It was her whole personality. And Margie, you were just the least vegan you could possibly be of people that train for marathons. You know what I'm saying? How vegans are always like, God bless.
It's
God
so
bless.
funny that you say that because
you know,
it's literally what I thought. My friend Drew Droege always says, I've never met a quiet vegan. They're always
God
happy
bless.
to fucking tell you. And that was my first thought when Carl was like, I'm the annoying runner guy. I'm the annoying marathon guy. And I was like, oh my God, was I that? Because the
No.
number of times he tells people, I ran 8 miles. I just ran 8 miles. I ran 8 miles this morning. How's your training going? I ran 8. Shut up.
No.
Just shut up and run the marathon. Like, please leave us alone. Or we'll ask if we're curious how many miles you ran.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
shut
the
it.
most you said is like when you met with like your running group or when you were having to do a run. I'd be like, "Hey, can you go to coffee?" No, I'm running. I'm training. It's like, "Okay." It was so unobtrusive when you did the marathon.
I mean, that I hope so because
Marathons.
I love marathons and I believe in them so much. They're like bolster your sense of humanity. Like it is such a feeling of accomplishment. And for the record, every single marathon I ran, the reason I know I ran 5 is because I ran each one after a heartbreak. So that was how I dealt with my breakups. Was the first one I ran with a boyfriend, but then the remaining 4 were to get me through wretched heartbreak. It gave me structure. It gave me something to do. It gave me focus. And it took me 5 months to train for marathons. So like by the time 5 months was over, I'm like, all right, I feel like shit, but I can still survive this heartbreak. You know, I did something and that occupied some time and headspace. And it was very helpful on that front. So for what it's worth, coping mechanism.
Carl could take a page from the Margie McGee book about how to run a marathon. Don't listen to me. I'm just being a dick. You can do whatever you want if you run a marathon.
At least Carl acknowledged that he was the annoying marathon guy.
Yeah,
I wish he
yeah.
would do something about it, but that's neither here nor there.
Oh. So we see Jesse in his room and Ciara is checking it out with him. And he tells her, I have an open door policy. And so they start to get like comfy on his bed, just like catch up as friends. And again, what is it with this fucking cast and the shoes on the goddamn bed? It is so gross. And she calls him like anal when she takes his shoes off or her shoes off to like put her feet on the bed. I'm all, it's not anal, man. You walk through excrement. Get it off the fucking bed. You might walk through pollen. Get it off the fucking bed. It's gross.
It is gross. I think they think about it as like, this is a weekend house. So it's like not my shit. So I'll just put dirt and pollen and poop on it and who cares? But
no
it does
suitcases, no shoes. Ugh, gross. So he muses that he misses Paige and it won't be the same without her. And he tries to negotiate himself into becoming a surrogate bedbug since Paige isn't there. He swears he won't repeat anything that he and Amanda and Ciara share. And he asks Ciara if she's going to be friends with Wes this summer. And she's like, God only knows.
I remain utterly bored and unimpressed by Jesse Solomon. This whole scene, literally watching it, talking about it, I just am like, all I care about, the only thing of interest to me was I'm like, oh, I do miss Paige. And Jesse, you're no replacement. And all I want to talk about is Ciara and West. I don't care about you, Jesse. I don't want Ciara to like entertain you. I don't know why she does, but like you're so boring. I don't know. I find him desperately boring.
He's pretty one trick so far.
Ugh, and his singing is just obnoxious.
Did he even sing this episode?
The first glimpse we got of him when he rolled up with his suitcases, he was like, hey, ho. And I was like, get away. I truly can't believe you're a person.
He's real cheesy. He's so
Beyond.
cheesy. So back in the kitchen, we have West, KJ, Kyle, Amanda, Billy, and Levi. And West is joking that Kyle is just a little bit older than the rest of them. I'm like, by over 10 years, right? From some of the cast. But he has the craziest motor on a human being he's ever met. And Kyle says, yeah, I hit my stride around 4 a.m. And Amanda makes a passive-aggressive joke about, yeah, and then he wakes me up. I'm like, she hates him, and he is angry.
Well, and then I was happy for her that one of them said, Bailey said, like Amanda says, and then he wakes me up when he gets home at 4 a.m. And one of them, Bailey, one of the new girls, was like, oh, God, no.
Yeah.
You know, and it was like,
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, it is affirming probably to hear like, that's not cool. And then in this episode, he does just that. So he is just not capable of hearing anyone, anything, or any change. Good Lord. I did love when KJ went to join Ciara on the couch. And now, after the fact, we learned that he has anxiety. And I really felt for him because I was like, oh, this was interesting that he says that he's more comfortable around women because he was raised by his mom and has two sisters. And they find out that Ciara and KJ, both of their moms are nurses. He's like really delighted and interested to find out that Ciara is also a nurse. Like he's really listening. He's not there to like get in anyone's pants, which I think maybe is what struck me as unusual on Summer House. I was like, what is different about this conversation? And I was like, oh, this boy is just trying to get comfortable in this house. And little did I know that he suffers from anxiety. So he saw a safe space. He's like, there's a woman who seems like reliable and available. I'm going to go introduce myself and acquaint myself with her. I just thought that moment was lovely.
I love that scene so much. I loved it. I loved that. I loved everything he said. I loved learning about his childhood that informed so much about, well, again, I'm projecting. From what we've seen, it seemed to inform a lot. And I thought it was so sweet. Oh, so sweet.
And he seems really aware because, like, we did find out, I guess he was born in Arizona, but then his parents divorced when he was just 10. And his mom moved him and his sisters to, where the fuck is Missouri? Missouri?
Are they from Kansas City?
Yeah.
Is that where
I
they're
think
from?
so. Where the hell
now
is...
all of a sudden I'm getting everyone mixed up with Luke. But I shouldn't, because I know that Wes is they're both from the Midwest, right?
Well, they're from the same place, so it must be Missouri. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Whatever.
Sorry to those men.
Yes. He seems to be really, I don't remember ever telling my family story like that when I was that age. He tells it with some appropriate distance, and later we find out he has great awareness of how it's affected him and the methods he's using to manage it for now with room to grow. You know, I like this kid a lot. I think
Darling.
he's great. Yep.
So the cast sits down for dinner, and Carl stands at the head of the table to welcome everyone to the house, and he's wearing his big dumb hat. And he mentions, like, there's lots of single people here. And someone says, everyone's single except for the married couple. And Kyle holds up his hand and says, we forgot our hardware. And neither of them are wearing their wedding rings. And Amanda says, Kyle lost his, and I'm not going to wear mine until he replaces it. And I was all, oh,
Cut
shots
to never.
fucking fired, right? Like, there's a lot going on.
I don't even want to know the story of when or how he lost it. It feels
I
like it
don't
was
either.
like a night out, and that is just such bad form.
It is. And so Levi shares that she just got out of a 12-year relationship. Well, she was in a 12-year relationship that ended 2 years before. And they started going out when she was 15 years old. Her entire fucking 20s. Oh my God. I looked at Josh and I was like, her whole 20s? Her whole 20s. She was in a relationship. Like, looking back at my 20s, like, they were so formative, informative, chaotic. Parts were toxic, but the through line was fucking fun. Seattle in the 90s, fucking fun. LA in the 2000s, fucking fun. 20s, obviously, like, full of tears and heartache and dumb boys and drama. I felt bad for her. I was like, that's sad. And you know what? I don't get to say that. I don't get to say that. I don't get to project. That's not okay.
You can. I just like, it just made me wonder, like, maybe she came from a really healthy home, and like, maybe that's what the result of that is. There's a young person in my life who's been in a long-term relationship that started in their teens, and I don't, who am I to say? I don't know.
Yeah.
My aunt and uncle met on their very first day of college and were together till death. So they met when they were 17 and 18 and made it to the grave. Not that it was easy over all those decades, but like, I found it fascinating because that is a lot of growth. But if you're growing together with someone, maybe it's not terrible. And clearly, surely the last like 4 years were probably awful, and it just takes a while to like let go. But I don't know. And I'm excited for her to like
Have a rumspringa?
yeah.
Yeah, totally.
What a good time to like.
Totally.
And I love that she had no shame about it. So yeah, because Bailey was like, you have no dating experience. And she was like, no.
Yeah.
And I
Oh,
was like,
no.
oh, cool.
I'm not shaming her either, by
No,
the
no,
way.
no.
I'm
I didn't- no, I did
absolutely
not.
not shaming her.
Of course not.
Because if you're with someone and you're in love with them and it just so happens that you fell in love with them when you were 15 and it didn't end until you were in your, mid to late 20s. Like, there's nothing you can do about that. All I'm saying is that, like, for me, well, I can't compare anything to, like, I can't compare it. All I have is my own experience. And, like, when I look back on my 20s now, I'm like, fuck, I could write a book, you know? It wasn't that dramatic, but it was also really fucking fun. It was so fun and so gnarly sometimes too. But that's what I want independent young people to have fun and get to know themselves. But she can do it. She's just going to be a late bloomer. And she doesn't, I am not an expert on what you should be doing when you're in your 20s. Clearly, I'm not an expert. I was a late bloomer. Anyway. So, Bailey then shares that she was in a relationship for 2 years and he broke up with her at Sweetgreen. I don't remember how long ago was it? Was it like
last summer? That's
last
why she
summer.
said
So like
this summer is so important to her because last summer was the worst like time in her life because he cheated on her and told her to meet him at Sweetgreen and didn't reveal any of the cheating. He just had packed all his bags and said, "I'm leaving." And she was like, "Where the fuck are you going?" And he apparently moved to LA that minute. And just left her, and she was devastated, and she's sobbing, saying it's the most, it was the worst time of her life. And I believe that. A first heartbreak is like wrenching.
I mean, that is traumatic. To be broken up with out of the blue at a Sweetgreen after you spent money on a salmon salad for them, that's traumatizing. That was terrible, the way that he ended that. So she starts crying. And then apologizes after the fact. And KJ very adamantly was like, don't ever apologize for crying. I could cry just saying it.
I know. This is a man with sisters. I love it.
I have said it so many times to people. Like, I'm sorry. I'm like, oh my God, don't. I've said it to people on TV when they start crying and they're like, I apologize. I'm like, why are you crying? Why are you apologizing for crying? Anyway. And Carl says, listen, everybody in this house has cried in some room in this house. At least once. Don't trip. And then Ciara says, yeah, especially Kyle. And it's true. But Kyle just happens to be fucking wasted 9 times out of 10 when he cries. Which I don't think it counts when you cry when you're wasted.
I don't know what to make of Kyle.
You're right. You're right. So Bailey asks Kyle about his DJ career, and Amanda answers instead. She says, I wanted to start my own business. He got so mad about it, he decided that he wanted to be a DJ to spite me. Wow. She's fed up. She's impatient. This is so...
Oh, more than that. She wants out. This is scorched earth. She pulled the pin on the grenade and threw it. And we're just waiting for it to... Like, it's so true. Like she said, where's the lie? Because we see the flashback of when Kyle's yelling like, she's going to start her own business. You know what I want? I want to be a DJ. And then he becomes a DJ. Good for him. Again, they're both just trying to hurt each other, which is the part that makes me so sick and very grateful their relationship is over, even though I'm very sad for them to have to go through that kind of a breakup, a divorce eventually. This is so toxic. Amanda's comment is toxic. This whole dinner is toxic for both of them. He's terrible to her. She's awful right back. I'm just like, oh my God, please get a divorce and leave us alone. I can't.
Yeah.
It's such a horrible dynamic to put other people through. It's really painful.
So he tells the table that it's been a real joy merging all the hard work of Loverboy with people enjoying it while he plays music. And while he's saying this, Amanda turns to Ciara and says, oh, I love how he's spinning this. No pun intended. And Kyle says, my wife never asks me questions, and now she's not listening.
Well, and also, she's not asking you questions about this because she actually clearly said, please be home more and stop partying so much. And he said, I'm going to be a DJ. And again, I love later when Amanda and Ciara are talking and she's like, I have a friend who's a DJ and he plays his set and he comes home to his wife and kids. That's also an option. But Kyle is not doing this for a love of music or artistry. He's doing this to get the fuck out of his house because either he's miserable in his marriage or he's a workaholic or both. It's a mess.
He's doing this to get his needs met, just like what Carl said at the end. You're getting attention.
Oh,
and that has
so
been
cutting and great.
The through line the entire time we've seen Kyle cook on this show, from season 1 until now. The keg stand at the end for 34 seconds. all of the times that he does all of his bullshit is to get attention. And it makes me so uncomfortable. It makes my skin crawl. And it makes me not have respect for him. And it gives me the ick. So Amanda thinks that he said the word jealous instead of listening. And she starts to mock him, saying, like, oh, yeah, I'm so jealous. The jealousy's taken over my whole body. And then Kyle says, yeah, there's only so much Netflix and chill, you can do. So I had to go DJ. And Bailey and Levi look at each other when he says that, and they're like, what the fuck? Netflix and chilling also is about, like, staying in and then, like, hey, let's watch a movie, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, and then we're going to bone instead. That's not, he's dumb.
But they're both, they're both terrible. Because, yeah, truly team nobody. Because she misunderstood jealous. So she's like, oh, I'm so jealous. And Kyle goes, I didn't say jealous. I said you don't listen. And she goes, well, I guess I just proved I don't listen. Ha, ha, ha. And I'm just like, oh, God, you hate each other. Get out of this marriage. It's so sad. The rings are already off. Just fucking finish the job, guys. Yeah.
So after dinner, most of the cast goes out. Amanda and Ciara stay home. While everybody's getting ready to go, Jesse wanders into their room and sees them, in the bed together, which is, if you've watched Summer House, you know that Ciara, Amanda, and Paige used to like to convene in the bed whenever they could. Bed bugs and scroll and yenta, and it fucking was great. And that is the most amazing thing about female friendships. I can't speak about male friendships because I'm not a man. But I can say that, like...
Well, I'll tell you, it didn't work when Jesse joined the party. He tried to come in and play Paige, and he scrolled on his phone, and I was just like, you're too long, and you're mouth breathing, and you're not a bed bug.
Making it about him, right. So West comes in. This is where he talks shit a little bit about Bailey crying at dinner right away.
No, they all laughed. Like, it bummed me out. He was like, because they said, like, there's 2 new girls here. Why are you hanging out with us? And he's like, because they're crying. And everyone goes,
yeah,
like,
that sucked.
I was
didn't like
you
that.
Guys suck. You're stupid.
Yeah.
But it was cute that, like, West is sitting on the bed while everyone else is reclined. And she's like, if you're trying to be a bed bug, like, we're accepting applications, but you can't just sit there.
Net, West has gotten enough communicated from Ciara to know that a friendship is a possibility versus the previous summer where it was going to be cordial and acknowledging that you exist. And that was pretty much all she was able to do.
Yeah. Basically, last year he was in jail and now he's on probation. So he ain't free, but it's better than it was. And everybody takes that as a win.
So then we cut to Kyle in his and Amanda's room, and he's muttering to himself, every summer Amanda acts like I don't exist. She just doesn't like to fuck with me. And I was like, oh my fucking God. Every fucking year, we have seen you complain about the fact that she doesn't want to party. She doesn't want to send it. Summer's fun. Amanda isn't fun. He's such a baby bitch victim, and I hate it.
He was like unpacking
him.
A trash bag. I was like, Kyle, it's not a great look. And again, he's like over 40. Like at a certain point, it's like, buddy.
This is such Arrested Development. Like, there were so many times in this episode where he reminded me of Old School or any kind of a movie where the primary man baby character is like fucking Matthew McConaughey, Dazed and Confused, Will Ferrell, Old School. Like, they want to go back to their glory days. I'm not saying you have to grow up and let go of your essence. You don't have to become another person. But at some point, you have to look at yourself in the mirror and say, is what I'm doing working right now? And if it's not, what's going on? What's going on with me?
Or if it is working for you and you're frustrated with your partner, then like you need a different partner.
Yeah.
Like I think this is still working for him weirdly. Like he's able to rationalize his own behavior enough for himself.
Because he thinks he's the boss and he thinks it's all Amanda. Everything is always external. Everything's always external.
Yeah, but he's about to have a rude awakening with this separation of like,
Big
once
time.
Amanda's gone and he can't blame her for his misery, he's still going to be miserable. And I wonder if he'll take a look at himself or if he'll just busy himself with other women or more work or I don't know.
God. Yeah. So in his confessional, Kyle says, up until this weekend, we haven't spent a ton of time together. Between January of 2025 and June, I spent maybe 1.5 weekends in the city. I'm literally DJing everywhere. So I was hoping, emphasis on the I was hoping I could reunite and rekindle things with my wife. But like right out of the gate, it was clear that like, no, and it's discouraging. Fuck you, Kyle. I was hoping. He hates it when his plans aren't realized. He hates it.
And why is it surprising? She was explicit about not being thrilled about him being gone when he was only working at Loverboy full time. And you just told us you were home 3 days in 6 months.
That's insanity. I would be so resentful.
Like you said, it's so dismissive of her experience and her needs in this relationship. He's like, well, I'm here now. And she's like, right. But what I asked for was you to not be gone all that other time. Oh, but who cares about that? I'm here now and I want to spend time with you now. So I want this now. So what's wrong with you? You said you wanted time with me. It's like, right, but not always on your schedule and your terms. And that's where narcissists get confused. Because they're like, I am giving what you want now that I want it. Cool.
I had the thought that, he's lying on his side of the bed at night next to Amanda. And he's like, okay, well, we're going to start recording the show. And that's when we'll be able to rekindle things. And so he makes this whole plan and scheme in his head and just assumes that everyone's going to, go along with it, even if he doesn't communicate it or if he whatever. But there's no room for other people to have their own experience. And then he gets angry. So everyone leaves for the club except for Amanda and Ciara. And Ciara says she's stoked on how open the new people seem. I agree. And Amanda agrees that the 2025 Summer House group seems good. And then Ciara asks Amanda how her marriage is going. Amanda says, Kyle gets on my nerves. And Amanda says, some friends told me that, like what you just said, they have a friend that is a DJ, and they just had a kid. So he just comes home right after his set. And she's like, not Kyle. He drinks after. He hangs out with the club owner, hangs out with fans. There was another rumor that was sent to Page Six that apparently they got squashed. And she says, the fact that I'm numb to it now scares me. I shouldn't feel that way. And I was like, oh, shit. Because we've seen Amanda have this kind of energy maybe like once or twice an episode. But it's never been this much like straight up palpable resentment and disdain and disgust for her husband the way it's been at this point. Maybe we're 35 minutes into this episode.
And it's worse. I mean? It's even worse than like disdain. It's resignation.
Yeah.
Where she's just like, I don't know, dude, I'm done. She's just has nothing in the tank for him at all anymore. She really gave it all.
That's exactly it.
And she says in her confessional, I used to have crazy reactions. I used to call him. I'd be sobbing. I could not sleep until he got home. Now I'm like, fuck it. I don't care what he's doing. But being whatever about everything is really not a good sign. And this little track she lays out for us. Once upon a time, I thought you fall in love. And when you choose the person you want to marry, you're happy. And then you have kids and then things get difficult. This is not where I thought my life would be right now. And I think that is sort of the dream path. But like, again, I don't fault them for trying this marriage, but I'm glad they're able to get out of it before new life is brought into it.
Oh my God. Honestly. Yeah. So Amanda tells Ciara that she has been dealing with his behavior for 10 years and he seems happier. And that's why she puts up with it. Oh God. And then Ciara asks like, are you happier though? And Amanda says, probably not. Ciara tells her, I'm worried for you because you did not sign up to be with a fucking DJ.
And again, it's not to say you can't grow with someone, but he is just not listening to her at all. We've watched her say for years, I want more time with you. Oh, the pressure of Loverboy. You don't understand. I'm dealing with real life shit here. Remember there was a dinner where he like banged the table and yelled about that? So for years, she's been asking for more of his time, more of his attention, more of his affection. And his answer is just to work more and be away more. And I think that's what Ciara is talking about. It's like you didn't sign up for someone to leave you more and more on a weekly basis. It's just sad.
So we see footage of the cast partying it up. Kyle just looks like a fool. It just was embarrassing. So they all come home and then we see Kyle Kyling and he wakes Amanda up to ask if she has an eye mask. He tells her goodnight, but she just turns over to go back to sleep. Oh my God. If I were her, I would just sleep upstairs with Ciara. So the next morning is July 4th. Ben arrives. He is another castmate. He's friends with Kyle and Amanda. He's Australian, and he met them at a wedding in Italy last year, which I believe was a wedding for one of Amanda's good friends. Amanda says in her confessional, Ben and I met in Italy last year while we were skinny dipping. Me, the bride, and Ben were skinny dipping in the pool while Kyle was blasting a speaker walking around outside of the pool. We really got to know each other that night, fully nude. When she's saying all of this, she's smiling and she kind of plays with her hair. And I'm like, oh, something, smoke, fire. I think they are so into each other.
Of course they are.
Oh, my God.
I mean, because even earlier in the episode, someone was talking about how KJ's a model. And Kyle was like, oh, yeah, our friend Ben models. And Amanda, again, was not listening and did not understand him. And she goes, models. He currently models. And Kyle was like, yeah. And even in that moment, it was like, calm down, Amanda. We get it. He's a model and he wants you. And that's great. I look forward to you guys banging it out now that you're single.
I just feel like it's imminent.
As it should be.
So Carl goes to Ciara's room to catch up. And he asks if she's good. He's just checking in, and they deduce they're both still single. And he says, in another world, we would be together and it would be perfect. And she doesn't agree or disagree. Like, she's smiling. And I was like, Carl, that is so presumptuous to say. It just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. It felt arrogant. And maybe I'm projecting. I'm projecting. I do that every fucking week, every minute that we record this podcast. It's all projection.
I think he regretted it, though. He tried to walk it back and then made it worse. And I was like, and then he just kind of dropped it. But they both want to have children. And Carl is hoping that his new healthy lifestyle will attract the right person rather than him trying to find one. And he doesn't want to be a 90-year-old dad in the pickup line.
I took issue with I've been taking care of myself and prioritizing on work, and doing that will attract the right person. I have a hard time with that logic. It feels too Amanda Francis-y to me. If you are authentically taking care of yourself, which I believe Carl is doing. I don't know what he's doing for work right now. Is he still working for Loverboy? I don't even know what he's doing anymore.
Yeah, that's
what happened to Soft Bar? We haven't heard about Soft Bar at all this episode.
It's still happening.
It is? Okay.
Yeah, it's open and doing business. I don't know how it's doing, but it's open.
Good. Obviously, focusing on yourself is what you should be doing regardless of whether or not you want a relationship. Doing that will attract the right person. It just feels so much of like a setup to make somebody feel like, well, if you don't then find a relationship, it must mean that you weren't taking care of yourself and you weren't prioritizing yourself. And I think that meeting people is random. And it's just like, it's going to happen if it's going to happen. If it's going to happen, nothing. If you're not taking care of yourself, if you're not prioritizing self-care, I don't think that means that you're not going to meet somebody. And so it felt a little like secret Marianne Williamson, Amanda Francis to me, and I didn't like it. Tell me you have wreckage with the LA self-help space in the 2000s without telling me you have issues with the
but he's also like at just the right place in his recovery where I think that is the time when you start to, and it is better.
I get it.
To not be grasping out into the world and to try to be a lighthouse instead. And
Sure. I just don't want it to mean like, I would hate for him to say like, well, I guess I wasn't taking care of myself or I wasn't prioritizing myself because I didn't get the relationship. That feels too Kyle Cook for me. If I do A and I add B, then it's going to equal C. Well, it might, and it might not, So Carl tells Ciara, like, I don't see Kyle that much. If I don't go to his show, it's hard to see him, and I miss spending quality time with him. Ooh.
I thought that line of, if I don't go to his show, I don't see him. And that to me is representative of the workaholics in my life. If I don't work myself into their schedule, I don't see them. And when I've gotten direction from therapists and whatnot to like stop doing all the work, you don't see them. And it's devastating. I really felt for Carl here. I was like, I know what it's like to come to that realization in a friendship of like, oh, if I don't do all the work, it goes away. And they don't notice because they're so busy or so whatever. it just is painful.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved Carl's confessional where he says, Kyle's an amazing person. We all love his energy and his time and his attention. But I think as his friend, I'm not getting that. Him DJing. And then this was the one moment in this episode where I was like, Carl, rein it in.
Yeah.
He says him DJing and hosting parties isn't aligned with what he should be doing in his life. I'm like, don't tell anyone what they should be doing. Because I think he should be DJing so that this marriage can come to an end before children enter the picture. You know, I think this was an important step for Kyle and Amanda to free them both and send them on their new next paths.
He says that he should be committing to his wife, getting back to a good foundation in his relationship, and planning a future in that relationship.
I mean, that would be what he agreed to in his vows.
And it's what he says he's wanted. He says he wants a kid, and that it was last year, it was like, I want a kid, but Amanda.
Yeah, reality is proving that something different is going on with Kyle, and I think Carl is still not in acceptance of that yet either in this moment.
Ciara says to Carl, the DJ thing is ridiculous. You're staying out all night, you're drinking, you're hanging out with random people. And Carl says, that's the part that makes me nervous for Kyle and Amanda. And then Carl tells Ciara that 4 or 5 months ago, Kyle was going to a DJ set at Penn State on a Thursday night. And that was kind of like, bro, you're going to go to a college on a Thursday. Yeah, embarrassing. Old school, the movie, but make it Bravo. That's like all I could think. I would be mortified. Hey, I'm going to go do a DJ set. I want to have a baby, and my wife would like me to be at home, but I'm going to go do a DJ set at a college.
Yeah, again, they're just in that toxic cycle of like, my wife wants me to be at home, but she's a bitch, so why would I be at home? I'm
Yeah,
gonna go
she doesn't want to send it.
But then Amanda's at home going like, I asked him to stay home, and then he goes and does this, so fuck him. I'm going to be mean to him when he gets home. Then he gets home, and she's a bitch, so he goes, like they cannot get out of causing each other harm and pain and injury. Like, it makes me so ill.
It is so hard to be in a relationship with someone who is bypassing stuff and working too much or drinking too much. Ciara asks Carl if Kyle thinks anything's wrong, and he says, I think he thinks that there's things that they need to work on, but the bottom line, Carl says, it looks like they're just living separate lives. Yeah, for sure. Ay. So then they're setting up for their party. It's a county fair theme, and so they have game booths set up. There's a mini merry-go-round. Fair animals have been delivered. I wasn't too stoked on that. Yes, they're darling, but I'm not cool on baby goats in a teeny tiny pen so that drunk people can come like bug them. It was really, I don't like it at all. But this is where we have that sweet scene where we see West asking KJ as they're setting up, hey, how did your first morning go? And KJ said, I felt anxious, but no one knew because I was just quiet. And West says, do you like it if people check in on you in those situations? I loved that so much that West, like, he didn't just go, oh, I'm sorry, man, that sucks. Like he asked him, like, hey, how can I support you in this?
But he didn't even put that kind of onus on KJ.
Exactly.
He said, do you like when people check in on you? And KJ goes, I mean, like, yeah.
Yeah.
And West goes, well, that's what we're doing right now. I got you. And KJ says, thank you, man. And I was like, oh my God, I love these boys. And also, like, no wonder Ciara fell in love with him. Like, West does have some Arrested Development issues, but in there is a really good guy. And in moments like this, you see it because he's, this isn't about like trying to get ass from KJ. Like he actually gives a shit and cares to ask how the first night in a weird situation is. You're in a house with cameras all over the fucking place with a bunch of strangers who are loaded. Oh my God, I would have anxiety too.
Totally.
And how sweet to take that time when they were separate from the group to check in on his friend.
So then in his confessional, KJ says, I've had anxiety since I was 14. I think that's why skating has been so great for me. I'm least anxious when I'm doing extreme maneuvers. It's the daredevil or I shut down. As an adult, right now, that's how I handle anxiety. And I just wrote, you're doing great.
But he said, I love that he said, as an adult right now, that's how I handle anxiety. And he said it with a laugh, which indicates to me that like he knows this isn't it. He's not just going to have these two extremes his whole life, like skateboarding or shutting down. I love that he's not rushing his growth, but he knows there's room to grow. I just think everybody's, like you said, doing great. Everything takes time.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of patience that both of these men are exhibiting in this conversation. I love that.
That conversation gave me hope to see two young. Listen, if we break it down, like okay, I might go. Hold on, come with me on this ride for a minute. He's a model. West is a personality with a blue check mark on all of his social media accounts. They can take the Kyle Cook route and get external validation till the cows come home. Both of them can. Pro skateboarder and a model? Are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding? Please. Like, he doesn't have to do inner work if he doesn't want to, you know? He doesn't have to be aware of his feelings if he doesn't want to. He is still going to be fine because he's a model and a pro skateboarder. West, charming, adorable, sense of humor, on Bravo, doesn't have to do any introspection. He's going to be fine. But they're doing it, it seems like, just from this conversation. And so I'm glad. Does that make sense what I was saying?
Yeah.
You know, Kyle doesn't have to do anything. He's got a blue check mark. He's a Bravo personality, a prolific Bravo personality. He doesn't have to change either, but he gets to be Kyle. I'd rather be West or KJ based on what I've seen from them this episode than be Kyle Cook. That's all I'm trying to say. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so Ben, Amanda, and Ciara are in the kitchen. Amanda tells Ciara Ben was on The Bachelor in Australia. He was one of the 3 bachelors that people were competing to be with on that season. And in his confessional, Ben says, I walk in, there's cameras in my face, girls all over, producers asking me if I'm ready to fall in love, telling me if I don't open up, all of Australia is going to think I'm an asshole.
It's adorable.
So he was kind of like shot into that.
No, but what came of it I thought was lovely is that he realized that he didn't want to be perceived as an asshole. So he did try.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't seen this season, but it sounds like he was like, all right, I will try to open up. And it sounds like he learned something from it. Again,
Yes.
Obviously he didn't get married as a result, or he wouldn't be on Summer House and skinny dipping with Amanda. But again, everything is just growth to take you to your next chapter, you know?
Totally.
And I like him. I think he seems great.
Yeah.
I don't know. You don't like him.
I just don't know yet. Like,
Yeah.
he hasn't shown me enough of his personality. Like, I've already seen KJ's personality. Like, the anxiety in me sees the anxiety in him. The being forthcoming about what his experience was that morning, I could do that too. Like, I was anxious this morning. That's what was going on. I was anxious and in my head, and it was kind of fucked up. All I know about Ben so far is that he was on The Bachelor and he's seen Amanda's boobs. I am not compelled in any way, shape, or form by this young man at all. That's what I'm trying to say. There's nothing compelling about him, but I want to get to know more about KJ. And I want to get to know more about how West grew since last summer. Yeah, and I'm not compelled by Jesse at all right now. Because again, he's just showing same, if that makes sense.
He's a snooze. Jessie feels like a pick-me girl. Again, all of these terms that are associated with women, I just feel like Jessie embodies them more than any woman or girl I've ever met.
Such a good point. So Ciara sees all the county fair animals that have been delivered in the backyard, and she's freaking out with glee.
It's so cute. She
It
just
is.
goes out in her, like, these moments with Ciara make me love her when she's so gorgeous, and she jogs out in her like tiny bikini and then just like squats down to get eye to eye with the goats. I was like, you're so you, and I just love that.
Mm-hmm.
There's no awareness of cameras or any of it. She's just like, yay, baby animals.
Yeah,
And,
exactly.
Like, is in it. I love it.
Cut to Kyle, who is watching Amanda play with the chickens, and he's like, oh, Amanda, here I was thinking you don't know how to handle cocks. Take note. Fuck you.
And
Ew.
then just silence from everyone. Like, I swear, even the goats were like, dude.
Right?
Honestly. Daphne the donkey was like, sir.
Right? So they all start to emerge from their respective rooms in their county fair themed 4th of July party outfits, and Ciara in her little gingham 2-piece looking amazing literally stops West in his tracks. He's all, I like your outfit. I bet you do. Levi comes out and she is wearing like a sexy corn cob, but she's wearing a fucking corn cob on her head. And to be fair, Paige could never. She could never wear a corn cob on her head. But Levi's wearing a corn cob on her head.
But this is where their dynamic feels very Paige and Hannah, because Hannah Burner would have worn a corn cob on her head.
Right.
And you know what I mean? And Paige would have worn exactly what the other girl whose name I've already forgotten, Bailey. Right. What Bailey was wearing. So anyways, there's something delightful about the two. And they delight each other. The two of them are just like, let's do this. I'm like,
I love
you guys are a blast. I also loved them the night before when they're getting ready to go to bed. And one of them says, I'll probably take off my clothes in the middle of the night. And the other one was like, I do not give my consent to sleep in a bed naked with you. And meanwhile, there are two beds in the room, but they've designated one bed the sleeping bed and the other bed is for all their shit. To me, it brought me so much joy. Like, that's how I existed in my 20s. It's just like path of least resistance all over the place. There's already shit on that bed. Great. We're sharing this bed. And we'll lay out some ground rules, but nobody's we're not going to unpack that bed.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
When you were in your 20s, like, did you cuddle with your girlfriends on the bed?
In college. And I don't know if we like cuddled, but we would all be on a bed together. And like in college, we would all watch TV on the floor. Was so weird. We would all lay down with our heads on each other's stomachs and watch a comedy. And then when someone would laugh, their stomach would move and then we'd all laugh and everybody's heads would it was like the dumbest thing. But yes, there was lots of like weird, dumb physical contact that meant like that had no meaning other than like, we just are having so much fun and we want to be as close as we possibly can.
I was trying to remember if like I cuddled with my friends, and I don't think that we did. And that's what I love about these younger generations is that they don't give a flying fuck. Cuddling feels good. Let's cuddle. I'm going to cuddle with my friend. Because one of them was like, there's two beds in here. Oh, I wanted to cuddle. And I was like, oh, man, I don't know if we thought it was no one told us it was okay to cuddle. I'm so happy for the youth that shit is changing. Even shit like that. So the party starts in earnest. The guests are there. The cast is mingling with their guests. West is flirting. Summerhouse is saying there's a fake cow you can milk for white Russians coming out of the udder. It was disgusting. Carl did that hammer bell game where you like hit the thing with a big ass mallet and goes ding, and he got it stuck. And Bailey and Levi were like, "Excuse me, Carl."
That is where I lost faith in the younger generation. Is I was like, these girls were so charmed by what looked like Woody from Toy Story in jorts. Like, what were the proportions of that outfit? That dumbass giant cowboy hat was back. And I was like, Carl, you're better than what you're wearing. Does he have a stylist? And if so, did anyone measure his waist and stop putting his clothes at his natural waist because he looks like a children's toy? And also the jorts. It's the summer of jorts. All the boys were wearing jort overalls and jorts and Carl jorts with a belt. And I was like, oh my fucking jorts.
They are very much, okay, I don't want to sound like a dick when I'm going to say this.
I know they're coming back in now.
No. They're having a county fair theme party.
Fair.
And so when they hear county theme, there's not a lot of like thought. They're just like, what is the first thing that I think of? I think of a piece of hay coming out of my mouth and overalls with one strap off. So like, that's where they stop. They don't think, could I wear X, Y, or Z? Could I wear? You
just made it all make sense.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
yes,
they just
I
are like,
do.
what county fair costume on Amazon? Search. There it is. Add to cart. So like,
first thought. Period.
They don't. There's no deep shit going on.
Yes,
yeah.
So, I appreciate that. Thank you for bringing me back down to earth. Okay.
It's just because like I love a theme costume party so much, and I put probably too much effort into it, but I love clothes and I love dressing up, and so I want to commit. I want to fucking commit. That wouldn't be my choice to wear what Carl wore, but
No, but I understand now why all the boys were in jorts, because they were like, cool party, jorts, go.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, great.
Yeah. So we see Ciara saying to Jesse, like, I don't know, this might sound conceited, but I wonder if West got these animals for this party because he knew that I love these animals so much and that it would be like kind of like a peace offering. And Jesse's all, I don't think that's why, but
He weirdly like misled her though. He's like, I think these were a peace offering from West. And he's like, oh, he told me that's what they were. And she was like, really? And he was like, no.
Yeah.
And I was like, Jesse, you suck.
Yeah, he
You're a
does. I
turd.
think because he doesn't want anyone to give him give anybody else attention. He wants Ciara to give him attention. He does not
But he
want
also
Wes
wants
to.
Wes not to be mad at him, so he does shit like that. Like, no, he didn't. Yes, he did. No, he didn't. Yes, he, okay.
Yeah,
It's
Jesse's
just like,
gonna
you're
fuck
so
himself like he
boring.
did last year. He hasn't learned yet. It's still working for him after Lexi. I don't know how, but whatever. We'll see. This is episode 1. Well, that's episode 1. Though this was wild. Kyle probably doesn't know that like cameras are on him when he's having this conversation with 2 guests at the party, but he's mic'd.
He
and
knows he's mic'd.
He knows
'Cause
he's mic'd.
He starts
So
wiggling around trying to get it away.
Kyle is talking to 2 guests. We don't even see their names. We don't even actually get to see all of their faces. He's talking to a woman and a man, and the woman says, "Hey, how's your DJ going?" And he's like, "Well, Amanda doesn't make an effort to come see me, and I'm freaked out that we're such polar opposites." And he's already like the slurring is kind of starting to come in, so he's just going to be real injudicious about who he decides to like tell stuff about his marriage to. While he's saying these things, the editors insert a cut of Amanda on the merry-go-round going, "I want to get off of this ride." And I was all, "Oh, I bet you do." And that was so intentional. Like, this is fucking high goddamn fucking art these editors are doing, okay? This is like, they're putting in symbolism. This is Shakespearean. This is all the shit. The woman that Kyle is talking to, she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, babe." Like, she's like, "That mean Amanda isn't going to come out and watch you be a DJ in the middle of the fucking night, even though you're in your mid fucking 40s and you say you want to have a kid. But go off." The next thing we see is Amanda and Ben are at one of the game booths where you have to throw a baseball through a mouth. And there's so many double entendres flying. It's hard. Go higher. Get it in the hole. Some shit like that. Like, it's just like, okay, we get it. We get it. Like, he picks her up by the waist, her bare waist. His hands are on her bare waist to like get her out of the booth. It just seems a little, there's some boundaries. There's some boundaries that are being crossed.
But again, I feel like we see it back to back. Like, Kyle's crossing lines by telling these people. She asked how your DJing is going, and he goes, "Amanda's a bitch."
Yeah.
And then we see Amanda flirting in a way that you would not expect a married woman to be engaging with someone else. But they are both working their way out of this marriage. Oh my God. And they are ready to be done. Because I was happy to see Amanda happy with Ben. That seemed like she was having a fun time.
She was sending it, Kyle.
Yeah. And Amanda is not fun with Kyle. Maybe it's your fault, Kyle. Summer is supposed to be fun and Amanda is not fun with you.
So then, like, as the party ramps up, this is when people start getting more obnoxious. So the whole cast starts doing keg stands. So we see them all doing their keg stands and they're like, 5-10 seconds long, whatever. So of course, Kyle goes up for his keg stand and it's 36 seconds because
so long.
It was so long.
To be upside down, not drinking, 36 seconds is a long time.
Kyle loves the spotlight. He loves to get those needs met by outside validation. He's on TV. He's a DJ. And now he's doing the keg stand for 36 seconds so all 200 people in the party can see him do it. He's exhausting.
But it also is weird because if he has some sort of addictive personality, he's doing the thing where they start to take it too far. Like, everybody at the keg stand, it's not fun for anyone anymore. They're like, "Come on, man, tap out, tap out." 10 seconds before he taps out, people are like, "Dude, come on, it's not fun anymore." Now you're making everyone uncomfortable with how far you're going. It's like, remember when James Kennedy drank straight from the Fireball bottle when he was already shit-faced and everyone was like, "This is not like a fun party trick you're doing, dude. You're fucking freaking everyone out." Kyle is taking this to a level that he's not reading the room anymore and it's getting like dark.
He's the drunk at the bonfire with the acoustic guitar when you're in high school or college. And that's where you are on every Friday or Saturday night. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. You're at La Jolla Shores and some dude gets the guitar out and they play the same fucking Violent Femmes song on acoustic guitar that they do every fucking week. And they hold everybody hostage. And all I want to do is get the fuck out.
But it's like, that guy's annoying, but Kyle's the guy who like starts the mosh pit and insists everyone he's kind of, there's something added, like there's an anger and an edge to everything he's doing. Yeah. Maybe the Violent Femmes guy is the same. I didn't have a Violent Femmes guy.
So Ciara and Amanda go to a chaise lounge kind of away from the fray. And they talk about missing Paige and Lindsay. They FaceTime Lindsay, and she answers. She's with her baby Gemma.
With her Gemma's little hand comes
Gemma's
into
little
the
hand.
scream, and
So
oh
cute.
God, so cute.
And she says she wants to come out to the house for a weekend at some point. And after the call, Amanda comments on how much Gemma has changed Lindsay's life, like for the best, for the better, like how Lindsay seems so happy. And Ciara uses this as a well-timed opportunity to ask Amanda so where are you at with your journey to have kids? And Amanda says, I want them eventually, but says, for the last 5 years, I've lost myself and I'm finally feeling good and I just want to kind of embrace it for a little bit, which is what she said last year. Ciara supports that. I absolutely support it. And clearly her gut is telling her this is not the person to be the dad of your baby, at least not right now. Who knows what's going to happen? Then we cut to Kyle and Carl catching up. And it seemed that by the way Kyle was talking, now he's fully wasted. Like he's drunk, he's slurring.
There are
not
no
good.
consonants to be found in any of his words. He's like, Amanda,
Yeah.
it's just like a bunch of sounds.
So Carl asks him how he's doing, and Kyle says, thank you for asking. I am not well, and immediately starts laughing. And I'm like, coping mechanism? And Carl says, a lot of truth is said in jest. And I was all, Carl, this truth was said in truth, okay? Like he laughed after it, but it was not a happy laugh. He was not joking. He's spiraling, clearly. Carl says, Amanda seems good and happy, but from what I've observed, it seems like over the last maybe 5 to 7 months, the two of you guys are drifting. And I feel a sense of responsibility to try and help because, dude, I officiated your wedding. And when Carl said that, I kind of was like, oh, like it jolted me. Carl really just blew my mind with that. He's absolutely right. It's true. Like I remember telling Josh, telling myself, telling our officiant, like these people are in this room to witness this, not just because I want them at our party, but because like we're going to make these big commitments to each other in front of all of you. And with that, help us stay on these vows. Be there to support us through this.
Yeah, lots of wedding ceremonies have that as it's why I love weddings and why I feel honored whenever I'm a guest and invited. Because the first weddings I went to, and then I catered a bunch of weddings as a 20-something. But there is often a part of the ceremony where they ask the people in attendance, having witnessed these vows, will you support these two in their commitment to one another? And the people in attendance have to answer, we do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's resounding, whether it's 40 people or 200 people, hearing that many people say we do, like you see the support coming at the people at the altar. And I always felt a true sense of responsibility. Like if I'm here, I'm not just here for the party. I'm here to like see these people through as best I can,
Mm-hmm.
to help support them following through with those really hard vows. Those are hard vows to take for a lifetime,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Carl's getting everything right, except maybe launching this conversation after Kyle has been in a keg stand for 3.5 hours.
And Carl should know this, dude. Carl has been there, done that. Like he should fucking know that.
But I also wonder if it's like, I obviously have dated a bazillion alcoholics, and one of them, I would wait till he was intoxicated to have serious conversations because then I would get a more honest answer and I could actually get a gauge on what the real feelings were and what was actually going on. So maybe Carl is, I don't know, but
Oh my God.
it was a weird, the timing was weird. The sentiment was wonderful.
Totally. So Carl asks him, hey, are you happy? And Kyle, slurring his response, says, where I'm happy is showing people a good time. Press play. Oh my God. How do you look at yourself in the mirror? I don't know, man. I'm not saying you can't be in your mid-40s and be a DJ. That's not the point. The point is you're happy when you're the center of attention. And that isn't
That's what Carl says.
real happiness,
Kyle says, I'm happy when I'm pressing play. And Carl says, yeah, because you're getting attention. And this maybe it was just the edit, but it appears to stop Kyle in his motherfucking tracks. Because like, there is no jest in that, but there is all truth. There is no jokes. That is real. And I loved Carl for saying it. Like, that's a hard thing to say, but that's a good friend who will say it to you.
Totally. Amanda sees them and she's like, to Ciara, she's like, oh shit, are they talking shit about me? Is Kyle talking shit about me? Ciara tells her that, I remember I asked my mom, hey, when you were dating my dad, did you ever wonder what kind of dad he would be? And Ciara said her mom said, I assumed that everyone would be like my dad was, present and around. And Ciara wonders how Amanda feels and says, I can't imagine how you feel because Kyle's out somewhere every other night. And Amanda says, yeah, and he's out and he's drinking when he's out. And I tell him, dude, you're putting yourself in compromising situations where people assume the worst when they see you out being drunk and partying.
And he's likely doing the worst. Like, yes, she'd mentioned some page 6 item that got squashed. But as we know, what led up to the divorce was images, if not videos, of Kyle passed out at some fan's apartment at 6 a.m. And whether or not he was just passed out or he'd engaged in some other bullshit before then, it doesn't matter. It's like, you're in your 40s, you're married. That's fucking weird. Weirdo behavior.
It's so weird. So Amanda shares that the thing that's super tough for her is when the whole internet is rooting for our divorce. I hear it all the time from the internet. And then I start to believe it. And I'm at the point where I don't know if it's my thoughts or the internet's thoughts. Holy shit. Holy shit. I think that it's just that like enough people are like, dude, the sky is blue. And you've been like, the sky is, I don't know if it's blue. And you're like, oh shit, you're right. The sky's blue. Fuck.
Yeah,
Fuck.
but it's still like, I just go back to like, these are real people in a real marriage. It must be really painful to have everyone saying, fuck you, fuck that guy, you idiot, get away from him. He's slowing you down. He's ruining your life. It's like, but I chose him.
Yeah.
And I've spent 9 years of my life with him. And I committed the rest of my life to him. Do I really just throw in the towel because I'm having some doubts and the internet, who moves on from scandal to scandal in a moment's time? Like, it must be really confusing and really painful. Like, the judgment and shame I would feel if I had to receive comments like that about my relationship, the person I chose. Like, it just feels like, I don't know. This is the part of the episode where I started getting sad. Divorce is sad, man.
Yeah.
It's fucking sad.
Oh, I feel so bad that I'm like not focusing on the sad part for her and I'm just excited for her.
No, but that's what friends are for, is to help focus you toward what's next, you know?
Yeah.
But like the hard part has to come first, and they've already done it, so that's great to know. But just seeing her starting to like walk down that road is like, oh God. Ugh. It's a sickening thing to have to actually honestly consider. After all this work I've put in to make this really hard thing happen, am I gonna fucking am I done? Fuck. But what's good is that both of them are having parallel conversations. So nobody's in a different place than anyone else. They're both like, it's scary to talk about because it makes it real that I think it's over. So that's good. At least they're aligned.
Yeah. So back to Carl and Kyle, and Carl asks him, do you think Amanda's happy? And Kyle slurs, I don't know what's going to make her happy, but I don't know if I can do it. Dude. And when I say it out loud, it becomes a little more real and it scares me. He is being a little bit honest here. But like literally, Kyle, you wouldn't know me if you passed on me on the street in New York. But I know strangers all over the United States of America and whoever else watches Summer House across the world, like we all know what she wants and what would make her happy. She's been telling you since 2016. 2015, whatever. This is willful at this point.
I think, yeah, I'm with you. Like the first half of that sentence is wrong. You do know what would make her happy because she's told you explicitly. The second half is right. I don't know if you can do it.
Yeah.
And that's okay. But like,
right.
Don't pretend like you don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
Just
Thank
acknowledge
yes.
that you're not
yes.
you're not the one.
So Jesse and Wes are off chatting now, and Jesse tells him that I love Ciara's energy. And Wes looks at him and puts his hand over his mouth and says, same.
That's so cute. And is
So
this when
cute.
Ciara's like riding the merry-go-round like a stripper? Like she's
Probably.
like literally having the best time of her life, looking adorable and just like being,
Yeah.
it's not, nothing about her is put on at all. And I just, she's just the best thing.
She's
on
the
Summer
best.
House. I love her.
So Jesse's stoked because it seems like this summer West and Ciara have a chance at having a friendship, unlike last summer. I think everyone's happy about that. And West shares that he did talk to her about the party, and she expressed her gratitude and excitement about the farm animals being there. And Jesse says, yeah, she mentioned that conversation to me too. And West says, oh, that makes me feel like this is home again. Very sweet. And in his confessional, he says, because of last summer, I've learned not to have expectations about how this friendship and relationship is going to go. If that friendship grows legs, then it does. But I'm not going to put all of my happiness and sense of security into whether or not she's fucking with me or not. That's it. That's all. And it only took him 9 months off. I'm so happy for him. Again, this is episode 1. I reserve the right to get wildly disappointed by these people next week.
But I think, like, I struggle to learn not to have expectations.
I still struggle.
That is something that's like a daily practice for my ass. And
yes.
It's just such a look at like what happens when you actually just let go and you stop trying to force an outcome. And you're just like, I don't know. I know she likes farm animals and it fits with the theme. So I'm going to get them, but I'm not going to expect her to give a shit. I'm not going to expect her to thank me. I'm not going to expect her to like them. It just feels like these are things that may exist joyfully in the same world, and I'll like it if no one else. You know what I mean? It just like he's releasing all of the need to like, I don't know. And the outcome is great. And that's the part I forget. I think I have such an answer to if this scenario unfolds how I want it to, it'll be great. But if I just like do authentic things and let go of the result, the potential to be disappointed diminishes. And occasionally I'll be surprised and delighted by a positive outcome.
Totally. I've had that experience. Absolutely. So they both chat about how much they like Bailey and Levi, and we have a montage of the party winding down, and Ciara and West are kind of flirting in the form of throwing pies in each other's faces, and the core cast jumps into the pool. Amanda is in sheer flesh-colored underwear and bra, and so I guess it could read as skinny dipping. And Kyle sees this and is very upset, and he said it would have been fun if you had told me. Kyle keeps saying, I'm not naked, and Ben is like watching this awkward conversation go down, and Kyle cuffs off saying, unbelievable. Dude.
Yeah, that was rough because again, they're both done and they're both hurting each other. Amanda was naked. They were sheared, flesh-colored. They had to blur out her nipples.
They did.
Everyone saw her boobs. West said it. Same. But West said it. He's like, your tits are so out right now, Amanda.
Yeah.
Like, it was a lot and it was daylight and it was like she was doing a thing, you know, and it worked. He got pissed and he was like, you were the only one that's topless. To which I'm sitting going like, who the fuck are you to say anything to her? So like, again, like team nobody and team this relationship is no longer functional.
Yeah.
Move it along.
Yeah.
Guys.
Team, this relationship is ending, thankfully. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's the team I'm on for sure.
Yeah.
But also more team Amanda than team Kyle. I gotta be me. And that's honest. I fucking can't stand this man-child. So I was so pissed when I watched this scene and I watched him huffing off saying unbelievable because, Amanda is sending it, motherfucker. Summer is fun and Amanda is having fun. This is what you've been bitching about on my fucking screen for going on 10 seasons now. And you're being a baby bitch about it? Fuck you.
True.
Guess what? I bet if you jumped in the pool naked or in flesh-colored sheer boxer shorts, she wouldn't give a fuck. She'd be like, Kyle's gonna Kyle. Kyle's gonna Kyle. Anyway, that's it. They showed some scenes coming up, and this season looks super fucking great. And I am so excited. I'm here. Friend, what else did you watch?
Say
Yes.
We might touch on it another time because it was pretty intense. I watched that Karen Huger interview with Andy Cohen, and that was just someone still grappling with how deep into addiction they actually are. So that was interesting. I watched Below Deck Down Under, which was just sort of the other side of the Salt Lake City episode. So that was interesting. I watched Southern Charm, which I'm really talk about man babies. You might lose your mind. It is just a bunch of men aged 35 to 60 behaving like children. The Traitors was great. I actually had a moment of softness for Lisa Rinna in this episode. She weeped a little in a confessional, and I was like, uh-oh, I like you. It happened. After all these years, I softened. And then I watched the Grammys, and I just love that award ceremony. I find it bold and hopeful always. Bad Bunny won Album of the Year and was reduced to tears because I think what's going on in the world weighs heavily on everyone. And he felt something profound as a Puerto Rican person in the, in existing in this moment in time. And I don't know, Justin Bieber is a once in a generation talent. And I know everyone was just talking about his underwear and his tattoos, but like he did something on that stage that was utterly like captivating and showed what a musician and an artist he is. And I don't know, I love the Grammys. Most award shows right now I really struggle with because it just seems like a lot of decadence when there's not a lot of that and not enough of anything being spread around for the entire population. But that award ceremony, people are very outspoken and truly talented. And that award ceremony gives them a platform to show their talent in a way that like acting awards can't. You can't get up and like do a monologue. It would be weird. This is like you perform your song and everybody goes like, whoa, you are exceptional and you should be here. So that's what I watched. What did you watch this week?
I find that Bad Bunny so fucking charming.
Likewise,
I find
Jesus
him
Christ.
so fucking charming.
And
I love
stylish
him.
and his
So
acceptance
stylish.
speech in Spanish. Like he's
love
just
it whenever
everything.
he hosts Saturday Night Live. I just love him. And I did not watch the Grammys, but fuck ice. What did I watch? I watched the Karen sit down with Andy, and I have a lot to say too. And if we hadn't already been talking for this long, I would want to talk about it with you for a long time. I'm trying so hard to see other perspectives. I had a really hard time. I had a really hard time watching her, and it did not feel like she got close, but she did not get close enough for my comfort level. And I heard myself, I heard you in my head. It's a process. Sobriety is a process. It's a process. And so maybe she will get to the point where she can say, I'm an alcoholic. Maybe she won't. I also have to ask myself, why am I gripping onto the fact that she has to say I'm an alcoholic in order to be fully
Because you saw
surrendered?
the videos.
I did. Yes,
Lord.
I did. All I know about sobriety is 12-step work. And as other people are experiencing sobriety, long-term sobriety out of those rooms, I don't know how those kinds of people, I don't know what they call their sobriety. I don't know if they refer to themselves as alcoholics. I don't know if they feel a need to refer to themselves as an alcoholic. Does that make sense? Like, I know that like the way she handled talking about her drinking, it was mostly hard for people that come from 12-step viewpoints.
I think that's fair because this is why it's tricky, and I should be more cautious myself. You know, one of the traditions is, we maintain our anonymity at the level of press, radio, film, television, and other public media for this very reason, because she did mention AA and NA by name. And so she, in doing that, becomes a representative of those programs, which she shouldn't be. But if you don't know about, about all of the tenets of the program, and it gave me pause because I know I talk a lot about 12-step shit. In a lot of ways, I'm violating that tradition. And in watching this interview, I understood why that tradition is in place. Yeah, she doesn't embody... She didn't in that interview embody what the spirit of the program maybe feels like it is to me.
Yeah.
But the whole point is that there is many ways to work the 12 steps as there are people in those rooms working them. So I'm not to judge how she's moving through it and vice versa. But that was, again, all it did was make me go like, ooh, you need to check yourself, Margie, because when she mentioned those programs by name and then behaved as she did, I bristled too. I was like, this is weird. I don't care for this.
Yeah.
You're not doing it right.
It was wild. It was wild to like focus so much on antidepressants, which to my knowledge, you can't, I don't know about getting addicted to antidepressants that just felt very, I don't know, but she didn't say the name of the medication
Which is so
because she didn't want
suspect,
to get
which makes me
sued.
think
But
it's
I'm like, okay,
Xanax or,
so
yeah,
what, right. Like, are you talking about like
anti-anxiety.
anti-anxiety meds? Are you talking about antidepressants?
And also, it takes all the onus off her. It's like, well, a doctor prescribed me and got me addicted. And it's like, well, girl, that's not what NA is about. Because lots of people get prescribed pills and don't wind up in addiction. And lots of people wind up in addiction and find other ways to sobriety and healthy, beautiful, balanced lives outside of 12-step rooms. So any path she chooses is fine. But it was weird for her to mention recovery in NA while she still blamed a doctor for her addiction and wouldn't acknowledge the alcoholism, even though on the videos she says, I'm Thomas Jefferson's concubine and I'm lit.
Yeah.
The cognitive dissonance was intense for me.
It was hard. It was riveting. I'm glad
It
Andy
was.
pushed back in some instances too. He was like, well, 4 DUIs. Well, that was 20 years ago. It's like, I don't give a shit if it was 20 years ago or yesterday. It's still 4 fucking DUIs, dude. I don't have 4 fucking DUIs. You know what I mean?
It's not just like the DUI happened 20 years ago and everyone shrugged it off. She's like, yeah, 20 years ago, Ray told me this was a problem.
Yeah.
When I got my first DUI. And I was like, oh, well, that's something. Because if you get a DUI and it's really like a weird one-off, okay. But if you get a DUI and someone in your life is like, hey, whoa, this is going to happen again if you don't make some changes. Like, yeah.
She reminded me of someone I know that can say all the, not the perfect things, but say things. Everything was very measured and deliberate. It was designed to kind of evade any personal responsibility. It was so disingenuous to me. And again, don't try to sell me. Don't try to bullshit me, man. Don't try to bullshit me.
Don't bullshit a bullshitter.
Don't bullshit a bullshitter, right? So I watched The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So far, I'm really riveted by this season. I am so stoked on Rachel Zoe being there. I'm grateful to have more Jennifer Tilly because she's very entertaining. I have noticed that I have started noticing, I'm paying attention to how much she's drinking. I'm starting to pay attention to how much Jennifer Tilly is drinking.
Well, she and Sutton were drinking buddies. That was the nature of their friendship. And
it's just Tilly's behavior isn't abhorrent when she's drinking like Sutton's was. But I don't know why I'm noticing it more this season. It's very interesting. Sutton's in therapy this season. Holy shit. But I think the juice of Beverly Hills is really in the after show. Kyle talks a lot about Mauricio and about where she's at with Mauricio. It's just, I can't, if you have access to the after show, I highly recommend it as a supplement to the Beverly Hills, the regular one. Saturday Night Live with Alexander Skarsgård, that was great. And then watching season 4 of Summer House with Josh. And did I already say that I finished Gossip Girl? Well, I finished Gossip Girl. So
no,
yeah,
congratulations.
I finished Gossip Girl. Yeah,
You saw it through.
What a letdown. Anyway, yeah, whatever. But that's it. So, and what was your antidepressant this week, friend?
My antidepressant was, I take this workshop class with like groundlings from all eras. And this Saturday, there were some like old icons in the class, which was like just exciting in and of itself. And then this will sound braggy, but I'm practicing like acknowledging what's good in my life. I can get real comfortable like looking at what's going bad or complaining about things that aren't working. Anyways, look at me qualifying this. 2 people who are icons to me approached me after class and gave me some really positive feedback that meant the fucking world to me. And that was my antidepressant. And I hesitated to share it because I don't like sharing anything that could sound like a pat on my own back. And I can't tell if it's me experiencing external validation. But as I was talking about West earlier, I realized that I felt really good in the class. Whether or not they had approached me after, I left feeling like high and excited and plugged in and present for all of it. And it was so fun. And I was genuinely dying laughing at other people that were up there. Like, I had a great class, and that just felt like an added little ornament on an already like lovely tree. So anyways, I'm conflicted about this antidepressant, but that's the truth. That made me feel happy and a little bit high this week.
I'm so excited for you. And I would just like to point out that this isn't just like external validation, like you're just like getting up there and like doing it. Like you've been a groundling since I've known you, either training or teaching. This has been half your life that you've been a groundling. This is what you train. Like that's your Olympic sport. Do you know what I'm saying? And so to get feedback, that's not external valid. You're not Kyle cooking right now, okay? You're not, it's real, Margie.
Yeah, and I didn't seek it out. I think that's what's different.
That's
it's like Kyle
what I
Cook
was
is
trying to say,
seeking
yes.
something out, and like I was literally walking to my car, and these people stopped me. Like I
Yeah.
didn't linger or do anything weird. So that was lovely, and that is rare and special for me. And
Oh,
what was
God damn it, I
your
wish I could have seen it.
antidepressant this week?
My son turned 10 on Monday.
Ah,
It's been so emotional. My mom had surgery last week, and I was up in Portland with her and my sister and my niece and my friends. And it was great to be with them. And also, like, it wasn't super fun. I was glad I could be there and help, but like, I was worried about my mom and I was trying to help her feel comfortable. It wasn't like I've never done that before. Like I haven't done anything like this before with my mother. I've been having like a hard time kind of like coming down from that, and also like having my kid turn such a big kid age. Like it's an antidepressant, but it's also like it's been a real trippy week. And I also, I'm not trying to brag, but I want to give myself some kudos that like, yeah, in the past, historically, I may have come home from this trip and wanted to just be in my bed for 3 days to just kind of like decompress / avoid how like much has been going on in the last week. But I didn't. I got myself out of the house yesterday in a cute outfit with makeup on to meet a friend for lunch. Imperfectly showed up for my commitments this week. And it's only Wednesday, so I guess that's okay. And I've got plans tomorrow and Friday, which might not sound like a big deal to other people, but to me, any reason to get out of bed is a good thing for me when I'm in this space where it's like I could either like succumb to the big feelings and like pull the covers over my head literally, or I can have the big feelings and still leave the house and do the things I need to do. I guess I am changing. It's progress, not perfection, right? So yeah, that's it.
that's huge. And
Anyway, I'm
yeah.
so fucking glad to be back here talking with you, though. But
And
it would not have been
congratulations.
feasible to record last week. I would not have been able to
Of
do it.
course not. No.
Yeah,
But
so.
congratulations on being a mom for a decade.
Dude.
Like that's 10 years. You've put in a decade of raising a human being.
Yeah,
That's a huge deal.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
All I can see is what I've done wrong. All I can see
It's
is
so
what I
funny
would have
because
done
I was
differently.
just
All I
about to
can see that.
say, you always tell Leo, like you say, what's my job? And he answers your question with like, what is it to keep me healthy and protect my body?
Take care of my brain and my body.
There we
And I'm
go.
like, that's my
So
job.
if that is your job, I would say you're acing it.
Yes.
If you've got a 10-year-old who's in great physical and mental health, done and done, ma'am.
Yeah.
You've done,
Yeah.
whatever's gone wrong, a lot has gone right.
He's a
So,
happy kid that skips around the house and hums. So you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Yes. I project. I can only
Of
project my
course.
childhood onto his. I don't know what his experience is like.
Again, my whole theory is just new trauma, as long as
Oh,
you don't pass down the same shit. It's a human experience. Everyone's going to have to manage something, experience some degree of suffering. That's just like, I haven't met a soul who hasn't yet. And
yeah.
the best that we can do is help the next generation not have the exact same shit that we had,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
progress, not perfection.
Thank you, friend. I appreciate that. I'm not having a good time being compassionate with myself.
I know, but you're
In the
doing
last
great. And here's how
48
I know,
hours.
because Leo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. And thank you for the sweet messages on Monday and the pictures. It was really
Oh, yeah, I know. Mm.
Everybody, thank you so much for rolling with the punches and giving us the grace of not being here last week. I appreciate that. And I'm really happy to be back talking to you, Margie, and I'm talking about these young people. Everybody, it is, how do I say this? I'm going to tell myself what I need in regards to resilience right now. What am I trying to say? Find joy where you can. Rest, 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 rest. We are just being hit nonstop with just trauma from everywhere. And it is such a hard time to be a human. Taking a break from the news is absolutely okay. It does not mean that you don't care. You absolutely do. And you need a break to protect your poor nervous system right now. And I say this to myself. I say it to everybody listening. Just, you don't have to bootstrap yourself through this timeline. Rest, watch a Bravo show, nap. It doesn't mean you don't care. You care. I care. I can't go into despair. And that's exactly what they want. So resting and taking care of yourself is an act of resistance in itself. When you feel resourced, you can go forth and continue to fight for what's right in the way that you do that. And there's lots of different ways you can do that. And that's all I'm going to say without sounding preachy. What I'm saying is I don't believe in resilience right now. I believe in self-fucking care.
Yeah. Man.
All right. That's it.
Well, everybody take very good care of yourselves. And we will talk next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Ramona and Margie are obviously not doctors and do not provide medical advice. Their content is intended to be used for entertainment purposes only. It is not intended to be, should not be interpreted as, or used as a substitute for medical advice or a diagnosis of any health or fitness problem, condition, or disease, nor a recommendation for a specific test, doctor, care provider, procedure, treatment plan, product, or course of action.
My mom is a doctor.